Pittsburgh's historic South Side. It's USL Championship Soccer on ESPN+. I'm Matt Geico alongside John Krasinski. Will be your tour guides for the evening as Nashville Soccer Club pays its second ever visit to Highmark Stadium to take on the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Two teams that in 2019 have big aspirations and two teams off to pretty darn good starts. And we'll start with the home team this evening, trying to get its unbeaten streak to 6. The Hounds, in their second year under coach Bob Lilly, are tied right now for the longest unbeaten run in USL. And John, it'll be a tough challenge tonight, but the Hounds are in good form.
They're trying to find their form. They're getting there. They're getting there game by game. And tonight, I think 3 points on the line. It's an important 3 points because both teams are real close in the standings right now.
And this is the final home match in USL play until Memorial Day weekend for Pittsburgh. So some urgency there. There you see 6 different goal scorers. Not blowing teams out, but playing pretty solid. And speaking of solid, on that back line, one of 5 Hounds who have played every minute of every match so far is the third-year pro, Toby Adewale, part of a really tough center-back tandem with Joe Greenspan.
There's lots of chemistry there. The two of them have been together for 2 years now, actually more than 2 years. And Adewale's right there. He's second in the team in clearances with 17. He's got 8 tackles. He's even scored a goal this year, Matt.
Yeah, he's gotten that one off the set piece as the Hounds get their back line involved in the offense a little bit early on. And as for Nashville, well, the Hounds were the top defensive team in the East last year. Nashville was the second best defensive team, but they want to add some punch, and they have in the Mexican-born Daniel Rios. 5 goals in the opening 6 matches. It's really paid off so far.
Lots of quality and in and around the box. Rios gets the ball anywhere near there with room to shoot. He's going to be dangerous. You can see there the versatility, be able to flick it like that, and also getting close to goal, get it past the goal.
Rios and Cameron Lancaster combined for 45 goals last year. Nashville adding both this offseason as they prepare for that jump to MLS next year. But as for right now, they have eyes on dominating the East. Two teams that, well, they've played some tight matches in the past, and we anticipate even more of that this evening. Kickoff coming up on ESPN Plus from Pittsburgh.
Okay, go ahead and stand up for me. Good. Okay.
Oh my gosh, this is just...
Now, if you get home and that's a little more tender.
Can I give you a hug? I can't believe it. I was in surgery this morning. Oh my gosh.
Call 412 Doctors to schedule an appointment at Allegheny Health Network.
Pleasant Valley Golf Club, nestled in the Laurel Highlands of southwestern Pennsylvania, is now open to the public. Enjoy 18 holes of championship golf with a new island green and fully stocked pro shop. Our clubhouse features a large ballroom for weddings or private parties, 2 restaurants serving delicious food, a sports bar, 2 state-of-the-art golf simulators, and an outdoor patio with gas fire pit and picturesque view. Pleasant Valley Golf Club, now open to the public.
Should have been a cowboy. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour 2019. Red Solo Cup. Live in concert. I'd fill you up, made in America. Friday, September 27th at Highmark Stadium. How do you like me now? Toby Keith. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Drusky Entertainment and Kirchner Concerts. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour.
Explore a world of music on WQED.
Explore sweater sessions on WQED.
Explore educational opportunities.
Explore science.
Explore early childhood learning.
Explore Nebby on WQED.
Explore the power of the arts.
Explore Pittsburgh Eats.
Explore diversity on WQED.
Back in Pittsburgh, where Nashville tries to rebound after a 3-1 loss at Charleston last week. Meanwhile, the Hounds try to keep it going. They have the second longest unbeaten run in USL Championship right now at 5 games. I'm Matt Geico with John Krasinski. Let's look at the starting 11 for the boys in black for the first time. The Hounds were in their dark alternate kits. And the one change here, John, is the keeper. Kyle Morton gets back in there after 3 consecutive starts for the Columbus Crew loanee, Ben Lundgaard. So Morton back in for the 3rd time this season.
Yes, Bob Lilly probably sensing the importance of keeping his goalkeepers fresh and getting enough game action throughout the course of the whole season. But a lot of seasoned experience. there for the Riverhounds.
You see that back four we talked about in the open.
Yeah.
They've started every game together. Dover, Greenspan, Adewale, and James. Dos Santos right there at the top. And with Brett and Kerr and Forbes behind him, some playmakers who can get him the ball in some key spots. As for Nashville and for Coach Gary Smith in his second year in charge of this squad, which is moving on up to MLS next year. They're trying to make an impression here in USL right now. And there you see Connor Sparrow, another goaltending bit of intrigue here, if you will, as it's not the veteran Matt Pickens, it's Sparrow making his third start tonight. And we talked about Rios, and also let's not forget Carlton Belmar, a dynamic player right alongside Rios' running mate, if you will, up there at the top.
Certainly, and he'll be dynamic, especially on the right side. He likes to create things along the right side. And this team, Coach Smith talked about potential changes this week after last week's 3-1 loss.
Yeah, he said his team had some trouble handling the three-man front, the three forwards that the battery threw out. And so for Gary Smith in his 11th year managing a club, remember he was with the Colorado Rapids of MLS and he won an MLS championship in 2010. Smith, the 50-year-old from England, he'll try to match wits with Bob Lilly, the guy in the other dugout, the 52-year-old from New Jersey. Lilly in his 19th year as a head coach, and he has never missed the playoffs in any league that he's been in. We know Bob to be a chess master, and Gary Smith has the reputation of putting teams out there that know what they're doing. There was one combined goal scored in 2 matches between these two teams last year, so we know it's probably going to take some high-quality stuff to break through for either side.
Certainly, this could be a match where a set piece or a big moment or a dynamic shot from somewhere special could be the difference.
Steven Dos Santos stands over the ball. The Hounds will kick here, and they'll move to the right as they usually do here at Highmark Stadium. That's down to the east end where the Steel Army is stationed. Fans still filing in. For the third home game in 3 weeks, Pittsburgh started with 4 games on the road as the new AstroTurf was laid down here at Highmark Stadium after 5 years of use, 5 seasons of use. And now in season number 6, it's new carpet. And the Hounds closing out this 3-game homestand with Adewale, man we featured in the open, ball at his feet. Toby, the third-year pro, sends this one deep to start. And Sparrow will touch it down, keeping it at his feet. Give off to Liam Doyle, who cracks it ahead. Nashville going direct right at the start. Greenspan tries to clear it out with his head. It's still free. And taken there by Kenardo Forbes, the Pittsburgh captain. And right back to Dover here on this near side. Dover inadvertently played that off the back of Kenardo Forbes, trying to drive it low. Play a bit disheveled to start. And Dos Santos takes a knock. Steven Dos Santos rolling down near midfield. He's just on the touchline as the ball continues to stay in play. Taylor Washington, the former Hound, can't keep it in. Dos Santos is up, but struggling a bit, the big man.
Yeah, LaGrasso stepped on his foot there, so that had to be a painful one for Steven.
I mentioned Taylor Washington. We expected a former Riverhound in the Nashville starting 11 today, but it's not the guy we thought it would be.
That's right.
Lebo Maloto, the playmaking midfielder, the attacking midfielder, who started his pro career here in Pittsburgh for 2 seasons, 15 and 16. He was in Pittsburgh, went on to Swope Park, and now it's his second year in Nashville, but he's on the bench today. But it's Taylor Washington, who played for the Hounds in 2017 as a wingback. He's on our near side to start this game.
Yeah, a lot of pace from Taylor Washington, speedy guy.
The ball is free. Ryan James, speaking of speedy wingbacks, he's served in the most crosses for the Hounds this year. And it's Dover, his counterpart on this near side. Mohamed Dabo playing in a holding position, gave it away. Getting in the way of that was LaGrasso. And now here comes Rios, the 5-goal man. Bumped down, first foul call goes against Pittsburgh, and the second-year pro, Tom Vonkiazil.
Yeah, the Hounds were caught a little bit. There were 3 back, but it looked like Nashville had some numbers going forward, so maybe not the worst foul in that situation for Tommy V.
As they call it, professional foul. And
yeah.
Well, Rios, who battled some sort of a leg ailment 2 games ago against Memphis down in Nashville, as Nashville won the Tennessee Derby, if you will. Well, he's slow to get up here.
Yeah, dangerous opportunity, though. We'll see what Nashville can do here. They're aligning everybody on the right side, so probably could do something on the near post side, but who knows? They might change things up and do a switch here as well.
Nashville scored a lot from the run of play, not terribly lethal from the restart so far, but it's still early. And of course, as we mentioned, they have some weapons. So here's the strike from Doyle. over toward the back post side and, well, lifted out of play by Greenspan. Not a lot on that. Ball into the mix.
46th clearance this year for Joe Greenspan.
Easily the Hounds leader here. Here comes Kyle Morton off his line to snatch this floater. Kyle Morton, second-year Riverhound. He had 3 clean sheets in his first 3 starts last year, but he only had to make 1 save. That's when the Hounds were in total lockdown mode at the start of 2018. Then he had a knee injury. Pittsburgh brought him back, though. They believe in Kyle Morton's talent. And the former James Madison standout now looks on as Thomas Vankiazil tries to get things going out of the back for the Riverhounds.
Yeah, we're seeing Vankiazil sandwiched between the 2 center backs today. I think that's the ideas that Bob Lilly wants to see. A little bit more possession out of the back, and using Tommy V between Joe Greenspan and Toby Adewale is what he's doing at this point.
Pittsburgh's lost just once in 6 matches, but tied for last in the USL Championship with a 70% pass accuracy rating. Loudon and Red Bulls, too, are right there with them. So they want to complete some more passes. They want to get some rhythm going, to use the word that Bob Lilly put into play this week.
Dos Santos was just surrounded by 4 Nashville players holding the ball up, and guess what? The Riverhounds still have possession, so he really doing his job there.
He was. There's Kevin Kerr, the 7th-year Hound. Spraying to Adewale. James doubling back. Nashville proving tough to penetrate here in the opening minutes, as we expected, and it's a tighter field here in Pittsburgh. Look out as Morton gets rid of that one with Belmar right in his grill. Dos Santos battles, and he's called for the foul.
We're also seeing the high press coming from Nashville again, just really giving the Hounds some fits there, trying to play that ball out.
Well, usually it's the Hounds' signature to come out in that high press, as we've talked about. On this field especially, they want to dictate tempo. Force teams into some uncomfortable situations. Here's Dabo tracking back, booting it away from Matt LaGrassa. Nashville gave up the first 3 goals last week at Charleston, a defeat that Gary Smith called embarrassing. It's a team that wants to build momentum toward that MLS debut next year, a la FC Cincinnati last season when they ran away with the regular season championship. Taken away by Ryan James, but the ball hops free and booted right back into the Hounds' end. Offside is the call. Charles Murphy, Western Pennsylvania zone, is the head man, the man in the middle, in the blue referee's shirt. He'll be assisted by Nick Balser and James Dooling tonight.
Yeah, that was Belmar. That was Belmar. Just got a step ahead, just a step behind the Riverhounds back line there. Called for the offside.
So a restart will be in the hands of Kyle Morton, who cracks it up the pitch. Dos Santos looking to flick it on, taken there by Bolo Akinyote, former New York Red Bulls product. Rios can't control, Hounds pounce, and Dabo gives it right back to Greenspan.
Rios has already given the Hounds back line and the holding midfielders some fits there.
On that far wing, Pittsburgh has lost just twice at home under Bob Lilly since he took over at the start of the 2018 season. But one of those teams that beat him was this team, Nashville SC, last May 30th, 1-0. Brendan Allen had the winner, no longer with this Nashville club.
Lots of patience right now being exercised by the Riverhounds. So just they're playing it around now with long diagonal ball to Speedy James on the left side.
Great ball from Greenspan, right on the money, stops dead at the corner flag. Ryan James crossing in, rising is Dos Santos. It's about a foot over his head. Steel Army started to get into full throat there as they anticipated something coming from that.
Everything looked good there, Matt, until James's ball just a tad too high for Dos Santos, who we've seen connect on a header earlier.
25 crosses coming into this match for James, tops on this club, as I mentioned earlier. When the Hounds are playing well, they want James, they want Dover to do a lot of the service.
Well, now they just picked up where they left off last week. 33 crosses for the Riverhounds last week. That time, good combination play, just couldn't finish there.
And when I talked to Bob Lilly about last week, well, hold on a second, as Kerr is in pursuit, and he forces Doyle to get rid of it quicker than he wanted to, but Kerr whistled here, running through the ball and through the man, as it turned out.
Yeah, the Hounds showing some patience with possession and then sending long diagonal balls, so maybe that's something that they see there.
Perhaps they perceive that as a weakness. I know that Bob Lilly wanted his team to be more active off the ball, make more aggressive runs. He felt like all those crosses that you mentioned, John, didn't often have realistic targets. So that's a spot where they'll have to try to improve. Here's a low-driven ball, a change up here from Sparrow, the goalkeeper. But the Hounds fend that off, but they give it right back. Rios in tight quarters. Gave it away. Ryan James over there. James looks for Nico Brett, who hasn't had a touch yet. Bourgeois will escort that one out into touch. 9th minute, no shots on target yet for either side. Hounds had the most dangerous chance just a moment ago on James's cross. Reed, the captain, nods it down. LaGrassa tumbles over. Then he takes out Forbes, who, lying on his side, makes the play back to Vankiazil.
And that's that unified, team-oriented defense there. Kevin Kerr coming all the way back, tucking in and helping out. Even though he's a wide right player, he came all the way back to the central part of the field there to defend that.
That's what stood out to me about the Hounds in the first half of last year, especially just contrasting that against previous editions. When Lilly took over, he made it clear that you have to play like that or you're not going to play for him.
Yeah.
So Dos Santos on the move here. Couldn't quite get it with the head. Dabo will. It's over the top of Dos Santos, but still up in the air. Edge of the attacking third for Pittsburgh. Brett taps it along to Dos Santos. Native of Cape Verde. Gives to Dover.
Good job there by the Hounds pressuring the ball, get the ball back in their third.
Now here's Kerr, promising stuff for the Hounds. Switch of play over to James, who cuts in. James along the floor to Dover. He's D'd up. Looks for Dos Santos, cleared by Doyle, and, well, it's ruled to be off of Dos Santos' foot last, pardon me. Stephen, I think, thought that throw was going in the Pittsburgh direction. He clapped his hands. Maybe he just liked the service. Now here's Stephen battling, fighting through, and Washington trips him up.
Not the first, and probably won't be the last time we'll see Taylor Washington with a hard challenge here at Highmark Stadium. Dos Santos, though, that's what he does. He draws that.
Dos Santos, who led this team in duels coming into this match, and it wasn't even close. Well over 100. Gets another one, and he gets a duel won and a foul drawn.
Wow, he kept his body up there and got the ball through Washington's legs. Here we are.
Kerr service, knotted down by Greenspan, cleared out, and it'll be a corner kick. First one of the match goes to the Riverhounds.
And we can see Toby Adewale trotting down. So you'll see both the big center backs, Joe Greenspan and Adewale, up there for the Hounds corner here. Look for them. Sometimes if it goes to Adewale or Greenspan, they'll look to redirect it to somebody else.
They've tried that a few times off set pieces this year. Kenny Forbes, in-swinger, punched away by Sparrow, and out for a throw. Hunter Sparrow, fourth-year professional, one MLS appearance in U.S. Open Cup last year for Real Salt Lake. He was with the Real Monarchs, RSL's USL affiliate, the last 2 seasons. And Gary Smith feels like he has 2 frontline starting keepers in Sparrow and Pickens. Dover tests Sparrow here, but that's an easy catch.
Yeah, Kerr shielded off the defender and then gave Dover the room to come in and get that ball on close to frame.
Daniel Rios fighting over on the right flank now. Out to Nashville. Nashville coming in, one of the top squads in pass accuracy. So a contrast in styles there with the Hounds. Adewale dispossesses Rios strongly in the corner.
Well, the Hounds are trying to send a message, that they're not going to back down from a quality player like Rios.
We've seen this Hounds side in the opening 12 minutes. Not afraid to throw the body around. Strong challenges here. Akinyode serves it on back. Nashville plays it along the back line. Ken Tribbett, we know him from his time with Penn FC and Penn FC's former name, the Harrisburg City Islanders. Deep one here down the left channel. Washington causing trouble, but he can't keep it in. It's a goal kick for the Hounds. It was Washington against Dover on the edge.
Yeah, you had that battle, though, but at first that started Dabo. Mohamed Dabo, typically a holding midfielder, came rushing out. I mean, that's part of the idea of trying to... Bob Lilly wants to see his midfield kind of break down passes, take away passing lanes, I don't know if Dabo got there quick enough, and then what Nashville did was they saw that opening, and they tried to play the ball over Dover to get it to Washington, but just missed on that one.
Washington making his third start here today, fourth appearance of the season. Kerr couldn't take it away from Bradley Bourgeois, and Kerr actually got the boot up in Bourgeois' face, hence the whistle.
Yeah, Kerr was looking, sensing maybe a possible opportunity there, but looks like he got forward a little too quickly.
I'm Matt Geika. John Krasinski is alongside for today's ESPN Plus presentation of USL Championship Soccer. Pittsburgh and Nashville, third all-time meeting. Nashville went 1-0-1 against the Hounds last year. A 0-0 draw in Nashville, and the opener for Pittsburgh was down at Nissan Stadium, the home of the Tennessee Titans of the NFL. 20,000 plus there for that one.
Yeah, that was an exciting game. I was there for that first ever match.
Nashville made the playoffs basically on the number. They were 8th, had to play Cincinnati in the opening round, and Cincy prevailed on penalty kicks as Vankia Azil gets rid of it quickly to James. More high press from Nashville, but the Hounds navigate that. Dos Santos, Dabo, twisting, turning, feeding to Greenspan. Big Joe sends one to another big man in Dos Santos. Holding it up is Steven. Left it off the foot of Doyle, and a throw for the Hounds.
Yeah, we've talked earlier in the broadcast that the Hounds' passing accuracy is not the best in the USL. It's actually the worst. But so far today, they're connecting passes and they're a little bit more patient. I like what I see so far.
Trying to get some confidence with the ball at their feet. It's tough to make a quality play when you don't have it a lot in a game. That's just a fact of the matter. It doesn't matter how good you are or what level you're at, from youth all the way up to the pros. Greenspan steals a drink of water on the sideline and then hands the ball off. That's a KG veteran move. From Joe, Hounds number 20. Greenspan and Adewale, Twin Towers back there for Pittsburgh. And here's Greenspan again, directing that header. Dover was spilled, and that's a foul called against the visitors.
Quick restart by Kevin Kerr.
Forbes to James. James, the former Nashville SC wingback, played 16 games last season for Gary Smith. But then back to Bob Lilly's sideline. Ryan played for Bob in Rochester for 2 seasons. Adewale. He's only been a Riverhound in his pro career. And Morton. Another one of those former Rhinos on the Riverhounds. Kerr feels the pressure, gets rid of it. Right back into the breadbasket of Dos Santos. Kerr pushing down Akinyode, pretty easy call there. Kerr extended the arm, but Kevin has a few words for Charles Murphy. Charles Murphy has reffed a few Kevin Kerr games.
That's true.
I'm sure they have a relationship. I'm not sure what kind of a relationship they have, but we see Charles Murphy quite a bit here at Highmark Stadium every USL season.
I don't know if Kevin thought he got to the ball first or what, but just wasn't too happy with that call. So
Doyle to Tribbett.
Yeah, we're seeing Kerr and Nico Brett kind of out wide as attacking midfielders underneath Dos Santos right now. Oh.
Here's a turn and a serve by Rios looking for LaGrassa, who ran right through Jordan Dover and sent him tumbling. Jordan Dover's taken a couple of rough hits here in the opening 17 minutes.
Yeah, it's physical. Every 50-50 ball, these two teams are really getting after it. But as I said, you got Nico Brett and Kevin Kerr. They're playing so wide and high up the pitch that the other midfielders are kind of sitting behind them. You have Dabo and Canardo Forbes, and then Thomas Vankia Azil is kind of rotating, coming up as well.
Keep an eye on that as play continues on. Last week we saw Dabo higher up the pitch. We've seen Dabo in more of an attacking spot a couple of times. It worked pretty well in Louisville on another tight surface when the Hounds picked up a 1-0 win, their first win of the season 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, Dabo's up pretty high right now too.
Dos Santos wanted to slice through. Pretty decent ball there from Forbes, but maybe just a foot off. Nashville able to collect that. Nashville's given up 5 goals on the year, but 3 of them came last week. Dover stepping 2. Washington and Kerr collide, former teammates.
Yeah, as you can see, Nashville trying to play the ball out, trying to get some possession going, and the Hounds are putting a lot of pressure on them in this kind of final, you know, their back third there.
There've been very few easy balls tonight for either side.
Yeah.
We'll see how the energy keeps up as we move past 20 minutes, or get close to 20 minutes here. Pittsburgh won't play another league home match until Memorial Day weekend. They'll have a U.S. Open Cup match maybe here, depending on results, between the Dayton Dutch Lions and the Erie Commodores. If Dayton wins, it'll be a home match for Pittsburgh. Just luck of the draw when it comes to U.S. Open Cup.
Yeah, we get to see potential rematch of the old USL Pro.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of old USL Pro teams.
Dutch Lions were a stalwart in USL Pro for a while. Ball over the top, Greenspan gives it back to his keeper, Morton, who exploded away from the pressure of Belmar. We haven't seen Belmar with the ball at all in this opening 20 minutes, and that's a positive for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's got a lot of energy. He's bringing a lot of pressure, doing a lot of work, but yes, he hasn't touched the ball.
Nashville wondering what the formula is, or maybe they know what the formula is. They're trying to grind out a result here tonight. It's part of a stretch of 4 or 5 on the road for the boys in gold. They're in their usual primary home gold kits tonight in Pittsburgh. Brett taps this one down, and Kerr has a little bit of room to run. That qualifies as a pass here tonight. At about 5 feet, so he took it. Very meticulous type of play right now for both sides. Kerr a little off with that pass, broken up Bourgeois, and popped it off the toe of James.
Yeah, with the exception of the Ryan James cross into the box, I really don't think during the run of play so far the Hounds have been able to create.
And Nashville had just the restart when Rios was fouled about 35 yards from goal, maybe 30 yards from goal, and it led to nothing at all.
So 20 minutes, both teams, I would say, feeling each other out, but it's really hard physical play too.
Well, they're feeling each other out on a literal basis. Very much so. Here's Brett. A little bit of time. Delays. Dabo, soft ball here, going to be tough for James, and he can't get there.
Yeah, Bob Lilly can't be happy with that.
So now it's LaGrassa. Taylor Washington on the overlap. Washington puts his head down, blasts the left footer across. Rising up to try to get it was Kimura, could not. LaGrassa tapped it down, tried the half volley, and James blocked it.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
saw Kimura get into the action there.
Yeah, and ball came back out right in front of the 18 there, but there was a wall of black shirts. So the Hounds are in pretty good position defensively right now.
Kosuke Kimura, number 27 for Nashville, making his 5th start. 34 years old, out of Japan. He played on that MLS Cup team in Colorado that Gary Smith managed. And Dos Santos fouled hard from behind, studs up, and it's a yellow card issued to Bourgeois. And Bourgeois waves it off from Murphy, but first man in the books is Nashville's number 22.
Yeah, we've seen Dos Santos go down already once today. He was stepped on. Now he's still in pain, but he does that. He creates. He definitely creates that. Whenever he's near the ball, teams are going to try to fight and beat to get around him, and that was definitely a good call.
Dangerous foul from Bourgeois. Got part of his studs into the calf of Dos Santos. And so the restart. Forbes looking for Greenspan, battling Bourgeois, and it's off a Nashville body. Corner kick coming up to the near side.
Yeah, that ball was specifically intended for Greenspan to try to redirect it for someone else. Dos Santos kind of hobbled his way back over there and got it in a mix, but again, a second, I believe, second corner kick for the Hounds, so knocking on the door now. You can see the Steel Army trying to cheer their team on here.
You hear the siren in the stands. Looking on, Kerr toward the spot. Greenspan can't get there. Ball up into the air. Adewale, well up from his backline position, but that was offside. Kerr never got back into a proper position there, it appeared.
Yeah, Dos Santos came back to the ball from the goal line, and he kind of got in the way of Greenspan's effort to get ahead on it. I don't know if that was the most helpful thing for his teammate.
Rios bumped here by Adewale, who ranges over. Daniel Rios, good burst. And Greenspan saves the day, coming through hard, and he took the worst of that.
That was a hard battle there between Adewale and Rios, and then Greenspan.
I think he got a boot in the shin.
Yeah, supporting his fellow center back, as he should. Came back hard. And we know last year he injured that calf muscle, was out for almost 2 months. For Riverhounds fans' sake, Riverhound fans are hoping that this isn't too bad of an injury.
It is a corner kick, though. Greenspan is up and hobbling. Not a game for the lighthearted so far. Toward the 6, dangerous ball here. Served through by Akinyode. It's up in the air. Greenspan got to it. LaGrassa bounces. Morton makes the save.
The Hounds held firm there. It was a lot of pressure, but the first guy to try to get a head on it was Greenspan. He's hobbling and somehow still managed to get a head on it.
Akinyode came flying through. LaGrassa had the final touch. Couldn't deposit it to get it between Morton and the post. Frantic moment here for the Hounds. That hit with a lot of spin by LaGrassa. Didn't catch it flush.
Yeah, he didn't catch it. There was a crowd in front of him, so it would have been tough to push it through. But Morton stayed where he needed to be and made the save.
Kyle Morton, who came into this match just one save to his credit at Bethlehem the last time he played about a month ago. That was a 2-2 draw. Morton's played twice. He's faced 5 shots coming in. He's only stopped 1 of them. So probably good for him just to get a feel for the ball in game action. And he did there.
Certainly.
Adewale with Rios in his face. Toby wins the second ball. Here comes Greenspan sliding through a bit gingerly, but he made the play.
The Hounds have to be aware of where Rios is at all times.
James battling through Akinyode. And now here comes Brett putting it in for Dos Santos maybe, but not to be.
Yeah, really nobody on that far post for the Hounds. Dos Santos was the closest, but he was in front of the center goal.
Carlton Belmar on the left side here. Bucky Azil pushed the ball away. Back for Reed to shoot, and that was rejected.
Yeah, well done by the Riverhounds. Again, getting back in numbers, support. They're looking organized, and that's key. Here comes a diagonal ball, Matt.
Brett stretching those legs. Nico, the Robert Morris University product, on it here. To the end line, crossing. Up off Tribbitt's noggin. Tribbett gets to it again, and he's taken out by Dos Santos on the battle.
Well, Dos Santos is trying to get to the ball, trying to get into position, but that contact there kind of cost him. Tribbett was up in the air, and Charles Murphy called that one on Dos Santos.
It's a hard-nosed soccer match tonight.
Yeah.
No one's avoided the physical contact so far, it seems.
And just what you would expect, really, from these two teams.
I've been impressed by the metal on both sides.
Yeah.
Forbes slings it ahead. There is the man known as Duba, Steven Dos Santos, but he's unable to keep that in play. I wasn't terribly familiar with Dos Santos' game, John, coming into this season. I knew he was a proven goal scorer in this league, but he has impressed me with his work rate, and he'll continue to take a pounding and charge right back into those high traffic areas as Dava wins that ball for James.
Yeah, I mean, 90 minutes a game, every game he's doing it, and he's playing hard, that's for sure.
Kerr turned away there, so did Washington. The ball almost dropped between the two. Akinyode ahead of the back line for Nashville. Good little through ball there for Belmar. Drop to Washington. Akinyode switching it over to Bourgeois, who has a card. Playing with the yellow right now. Tribbett centrally located, chips this one. You saw the rubber pellets fly into the air. Washington saves it. Dabo inadvertently gave that one up to Akinyote. Dashing ahead with those choppy strides. Rios serves over.
Again, Rios gets to a ball. The Hounds have to account for him all the time. Toby Adewale might have gotten to that ball first, but got to account for Rios there.
Rios isn't necessarily trying to get behind. He's actually slicing in front, as you said. Reed. Michael Reed, 31-year-old New Mexican.
Yeah, right now you look at the Hounds. I mean, Thomas Venkiazil is sandwiched between the two center backs. They've got 5 along the back line right now.
Greenspan in Washington, another collision and another ball out, this time to Nashville. Belmar, former second-round pick of the Portland Timbers in 2015. Has 3 appearances in MLS to his name. Bourgeois wanted to gun that one through with velocity. No call from Charles Murphy as Rios was dumped by Adewale.
Yeah, solid positioning by Adewale.
And here is big number 8 in black. Dos Santos squeezes it up the touchline, and Kevin Kerr's onto it.
Well done by Dos Santos to keep that ball alive.
The Scotsman against a fellow member of UK, if you will, Liam Doyle, but Kerr pulls it back out. Dos Santos, Forbes, Brett, little chip ball, spins away from Dos Santos, who cut back in when the ball was served out.
Again, we've talked a lot about Dos Santos tonight, but he's very active. He will come pretty far up in the midfield to get that first touch and then redistribute it or keep a possession alive, and it's exactly what he did there.
Reminder that Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Go to selectsportamerica.com for products and special offers. Joe Greenspan got to the Select first in that circumstance. Forbes to James, who's had plenty of the ball early on. The opening half hour, Dabo bumped down as Washington won the ball. Rios stretching, but couldn't control the dish from Belmar, puts his hands on his head. He can't believe he missed that one. Doyle miskick, Dos Santos out, and he runs into Sparrow. Dos Santos down hard, no call. It's out for a throw for the Riverhounds. And Dos Santos sprawled on the pitch. It was kind of a side swipe as both players were going for the ball, but they didn't show any fear either.
No fear. Dos Santos, I mean, he's been down. This is 3rd time he's been down tonight. He's going up, and yeah, Sparrow definitely got to the ball first, and Dos Santos got the worst of it. Man, I mean, if you're a Riverhounds fan, that's the type of player you want to see putting in an all-out performance so far. I don't know. I mean, we're 30 minutes. We're a third of the way through this match, and Dos Santos is pretty banged up already.
That's at least his 3rd knock, isn't it, from the opening 30? As Dover could not get that to the middle onto a Riverhounds foot. And again, it's on Greenspan to take care of it, and he does. James, good little delivery there. A volley finds Kerr. Dos Santos looking to head it back to Kerr, and the two got their signals crossed.
There's clearance again by Greenspan.
Bourgeois used the shoulder, used a little bit of the arm too to get away from Brett. Brett wanted a call, none forthcoming. Flick from Dos Santos, Kerr made a break.
Yep.
But Doyle broke it up.
It's a quality play by Doyle there. It's a good little battle between Doyle and Kerr tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Here's a takeaway from Brett, who ambushed LaGrassa at the center circle. Forbes, another Jamaican-born player. 2 Jamaicans on the squad this year for Pittsburgh. 2 of the 10 returners for the Hounds, and Forbes and Brett. Clearance from Tribbett for Nashville. But right back to Pittsburgh. Hounds have had the slight edge in possession so far, 55 to 45%.
Yeah, LaGrassa just tripped up Dabo.
Fans, remember you can follow the Riverhounds and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+. That's where you're watching this game. Home of the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Greenspan took a couple of looks upfield and decided against it. Didn't like what he saw.
Yeah, I think the Hounds are trying to be a little more patient if they can, but
still hasn't led to much.
No.
Not that it's the wrong move against the stout Nashville side, but might require some more patience. Here's Kerr trying to be opportunistic. He's tripped down, but no.
He saw an opening, couldn't quite get there though.
Murphy says no call, no foul, no advantage either, so he just said it was a completely clean play, and Kerr went down on his own volition, or at least that it was a fair challenge. Forbes on a line. Again, too tall for Dos Santos, who applauds him nonetheless.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. That's what Dos Santos is needing balls a little bit closer to him.
Well, he likes the idea, just the execution isn't quite there. Right. Akinyode had his arm on Kerr's shoulder, but Murphy's saying that Kerr simulated that. And well, perhaps Kerr thought, that's as far as I'm going to go, so I'm going to try to see if I can get a whistle. And would have been a free kick in a dangerous spot, so you weigh the benefits and drawbacks there.
Yeah, and Kerr's a veteran. He's going to, he'll work it if he can.
Hounds can't run onto that ball from Brett. Forbes.
Anybody getting a touch anywhere near midfield is there's just a lot of pressure on the ball.
Not the firmest ball from Dover, so Adewale just had to get rid of it, but it still might lead to something here. Tribbett heads it back to his keeper, Sparrow.
Well, again, after the few knocks that he's taken, and Dos Santos just the motor, he just keeps coming.
Steven has all those years of experience. He still looks fresh. Looks like he's in great condition. You need to be to play the way he does. It's a max effort type of style. It's impressive. See the number of years he's put in as a pro playing like that. No energy conserved. Out on the deep ball, and it'll be a Nashville throw. No, pardon me, it belongs to the Hounds. Didn't see the man deep in the corner plucking that ball away from the ball kid. And that's Dover, the wing back. Jordan Dover,
another diagonal ball, Matt. We're trying to catch Nico Brett breaking to his left.
That's at least 2 or 3 times they've tried that out of their own end. So a tactic to keep an eye on. I was going to say Jordan Dover was called, quote, the blueprint for the Hounds at the wing back spot because of the way that he plays both ends very well. It was Bob Lilly who called him that this week. My conversation with him, and Dover at 5'8" certainly gives up some inches and pounds on guys, but extremely mobile. And here he is with the ball at his foot again.
Yeah, I mean, he's a complete player. He has the, obviously the smarts. He's got the athleticism. Just a solid right back for the Riverhounds.
And he and Ryan James is opposite number, if you will, on the other side of the pitch. The Hounds left back, also from Ontario, also 24 years old. They came up playing together. It's got to be fun for them to be reunited. Doyle, LaGrassa peeling back to help Nashville take some possession here. Akinyode right through. James slides. Advantage being called. A bit of confusion there from the Hounds. They thought maybe that the whistle had sounded. Forbes trying to navigate through that labyrinth over there. 3 Nashville players surrounding him, and ball eventually taken back by the visitors. LaGrassa, hard challenge on James to win it. Kimura bottled in there in the corner, or in the side rather.
Yeah, now patience being exercised by Nashville, pulling the ball back, and now here they come.
On a run here, Rios looked to flick it, and it'll go right to the foot of Dover.
Another one close to the edge of the box.
And again, Sparrow. dishes it off. And gave Dos Santos a pat on the back. Show of sportsmanship. 38th minute.
Well, whereas earlier I said the Hounds were being more patient and trying to develop possession, I'd say the past, 5 minutes or so, Matt, there's been a couple long balls. Dos Santos is getting his exercise.
Akinyoti, LaGrassa, and Reed. Right back through the middle. And Nashville sets up again. Looking deep for Rios. It checks up. Rios 1v1 against Greenspan, who wins that duel. Kerr running back and fended off Washington quickly, but the quick Washington gets back to it off his back foot. Couldn't direct that one online.
Yeah, that's a battle I think anybody would love to watch. You know, Joe Greenspan, an all-USL pro player last year, all-USL selection, against Rios, man. That was a good work by Joe. He's holding his ground and then just got the poke on the ball to disrupt any chance for Rios to create something.
Who's up, who's down, where did your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL Championship Power Rankings, only on USLChampionship.com. Looking forward to the half, John, where we'll have another Riverhounds history feature on the 3 local players signed by the first edition of the Hounds franchise back in 1999. And also anniversary coming up, the Hounds' first ever match back in the A-League, as it was called, the second tier. That occurred on May 1st, 1999, and there'll be a special showing of the match. Patrick McCarthy, a local sports historian, has the footage of the matchup against Cincinnati. Play that at Piper's Pub on Wednesday night. LaGrassa trying to find some room there, and it's off of Vunky Azil's head and out for a corner for Nashville.
Yeah, Greenspan tried to keep it from going out, but he was already, I think, past the line. Regardless, it's now another corner for Nashville. The Hounds thus far have defended well in the box. They really haven't given much room, except for that one sequence there where the ball kind of knocked around. I believe that was after a corner kick as well.
That's right, it was the previous corner. This is the second for Nashville. Visitors probably executing their blueprint so far. Dangerous ball, edge of the 6. It's Tribbett putting it home. Ken Tribbett absolutely buries that volley, and Nashville has the lead in the 41st minute off a loose ball situation.
Yeah, 2 corner kicks have been the most dangerous moments tonight for Nashville, and this time they capitalized. Tribbett just made sure of it. Absolutely made sure. Put that in the top shelf, it looked like.
Ken Tribbett in his 68th USL game. The veteran center back up into the fray and got the boot on top of it and drove it right over Morton. Too hot to handle.
Mad scramble for the ball that went past the far post, and the Hounds at that point have to make sure that they close everybody in the box with a gold shirt, close everybody out, and Tribbett had a little bit of room there, and he's clever pro, put it through.
So for the first time in 3 home matches, the Hounds are playing from behind. They beat Hartford Athletic 2 weeks ago 3-1 and drew 0-0 against defensively stout St. Louis in the rain last week.
Well, then they've got to solve this Nashville formation.
And here's a giveaway. Belmar getting past Vunky Azil. Carlton Belmar shoots it, and it's punched away by Morton. I believe he got a piece. The Nashville players are saying that he did. And no, Charles Berkeley says it went out without Morton putting a hand to it. Boy, I was pretty sure that was a save for Morton.
Yeah,
there's no video replay at this level.
Belmar, you know, he hadn't had a lot of touches tonight, but man, he had a prime opportunity there.
And it was served to him on a platter as well. Careless touch from the Riverhounds. Really led to a second Nashville goal before the half. The train passes here at Highmark Stadium. It's a familiar sight. Hounds want to get their train going in the direction of that passing freighter. But Nashville has owned the last 5 or 10 minutes. They've had more of the ball. This is their pushback here after the Hounds had more of it in the opening half hour. Again, it's Tribbett on the goal. Ken Tribbett, 26-year-old from Colorado. Started 6 out of 7 so far for Gary Smith's club. Throw into the corner, and, well, the call will be interesting. It goes to Pittsburgh, right near that flag.
I'd say Gary Smith has to be happy with his club performance so far, especially after last week, losing 3-1 at a really good quality team in Charleston, but the way that they've responded this first half.
Belmar flags it down. Dover busted right through him. Belmar got scissored out of the way. He protested, but it's merely a throw for Nashville. Well, 4 times previous to tonight, Nashville had tried to rebound from a multi-goal loss in their history, dating back just to last year. But all 4 times they've gotten points 2-0-2 in those situations. Shows a proud club, and I had a feeling it was going to be a very staunch test because of that, to use their words, embarrassment last week in Charleston. They didn't like the way they played one bit from the start. Here's Tribbett, the goal scorer, giving that one away to Morton as we get close to stoppage time in the first half. Hello to all watching in Nashville tonight. Building up the fan base. Nashville coming in tonight at 3-2-1.
Dos Santos a little frustrated there with that ball. He went in one direction, the ball went in the other direction.
We've seen his head shake a couple of times tonight, and maybe partially is because he feels like he could have gotten a couple more whistles, maybe partially because of service not in a spot that he wants it. Into the 45th as Bourgeois will put it back into play. Pittsburgh back in possession off the ping pong action there. Forbes, Dos Santos, another pass broken up, but it bounces nicely for Pittsburgh. James dragging it against a couple of former teammates. Ryan James into the area. James going laterally. Dabo, another touch over here to Dover. Will he try to serve it in? He will, but it's headed clear by Akinyoti.
I don't know if that was the best decision. He forced it over to Dos Santos, who already had a few gold shirts around him.
Forbes on a tough battle there. Brett bumped to a knee.
Yeah, in that case, Dover had a chance maybe to stretch the field a little bit more, maybe play a ball wide right, or even get into the box with the space that was in front of him.
Most ambitious run yet, though, for Pittsburgh. James has taken it on his own. Brett, did he win the throw? Yes, he did. Just shy of the corner flag. 1 minute of stoppage time added on, so the Hounds have to hustle if they want to get the equalizer before the whistle.
But patience within this possession, though. Make sure it's quality and keep the ball and make something on the end of this in the box.
James pulls it back. Toby Adewale sprints past Belmar.
No, not a good touch.
And way too much on that one. Looking to the corner for Forbes.
A little too heavy from Toby there.
And we've got to be getting close to the stoppage of play for the half. Of course, it's all in the hands of Charles Murphy. And they'll probably wait to see if Nashville can at least get it out of their end of the pitch. Hopping free. Belmar, and there it is. As predicted, the whistle does sound as Nashville does defend and clear. And as I was saying, leading into that corner kick, John, that delivered the goal for Tribbett, it looks like the blueprint's been executed so far from Gary Smith. And, well, I was saying that at 0-0. At 1-0, definitely the blueprint is being executed. Everything that Nashville probably wanted to do in that half, including getting its nose ahead, has been accomplished.
Yeah, and they found a moment. They found the moment. The Riverhounds have not, and that's really the difference right now. Blast into the top half of that goal.
We didn't expect a high quantity of chances, but there was the quality from Ken Tribbett. Back for halftime and the festivities after this.
At Moe's, we've always been real Southwest. And we're proud of it. It's in our name after all. And we've always been real people, using real Southwest flavors, making real Southwest eats. And we've always built everything. Right on the line, fresh, just for you. Real, fresh, Southwest. Welcome to Moe's. Try Moe's new Moho chicken, made with all-natural chicken breast and a refreshing citrus sauce.
All right, that's enough, you two. Don't paint your brother. No, you can't eat the clay. What can I say? Moms just know. I'm Christine Sorensen, and as a mom, I know parents know a lot. But for the few things we don't know, there's Kidsburg, your go-to resource for all the great things in our area for kids and families. Everything from kid-friendly events, creative learning, and help for parents. It's every Wednesday on KDKA TV, emailed to your inbox and online at kidsburg.org.
Okay, we hear you. Due to popular demand, #1 Cochran Nissan's 3-store supergroup just added store #4.
Introducing #1 Cochran Nissan Cranberry and grand opening offers at all 4 stores. Lease the all-new Altima from just $209 a month or 0 APR for 3 years plus $2,000 customer cash and $1,000 extra for trades at #1 Cochran Nissan now.
Okay, go ahead and stand up for me. Good. Okay.
Oh my gosh, this is just...
Now, if you get home and that's a little more tender.
Can I give you a hug? I can't believe it. I was in surgery this morning. Oh my gosh.
Call 412 Doctors to schedule an appointment at Allegheny Health Network.
Nashville with the edge so far from Highmark Stadium here in Pittsburgh. It's the 20th anniversary season for the Hounds. If you've been watching our broadcasts from the home games, you know that we're taking a look back in increments at the 20 years previous to this one. Today's feature that we're proud to deliver you focuses in on 3 local products, 3 Pittsburgh natives who made up the first inaugural edition of the Riverhounds Soccer Club. Enjoy.
First season was awesome. I mean, you know, it was just, I'll really never forget it. You know, from the first time that they announced the team to when they announced myself, Steve, and Gary as the first players, local players being signed. You know, I think it just gave it that feel and really brought the community together.
We wanted, you know, local, local people to realize that we got local talent in there as well. You know,
and Justin was that fiery, emotional player. He was, you know, even from the start, just a leader on the team. He just kind of held things together in the midfield. Really hardworking, you know, a great facilitator of the ball. You know, got everybody involved, and he was, you know, he was a demanding guy in the center mid. You know,
he's the type of player that you could build a team around, right? So they made the announcement about, you know, the players, and Justin is an absolute competitor, right? So at high school, before high school youth games, he is just a dominant type player that when that signing happened, you knew it was going to be a good team.
As far as an athlete, I mean, even there wasn't any video back in the day when we played, really, you know, YouTube or anything like that. But if you would have seen him play, man, he's not that big in stature, but he could outjump, you know, 6'3", 6'4" guys. All of our goal kicks went towards Gary. He'd outjump and win the header. Lightning fast. You know, just one of the fastest players that I've played with.
Gary was one of our best players in the last 20 minutes of games. You compare him to like a relief pitcher that can come in and dominate. Gary would come in and make an immediate impact right away. So his time and his minutes that first year probably weren't in the top 10, but what he did in his production, assists, and goals, he's fast to begin with. He's probably one of the fastest players in the league. But when you take his fresh legs coming in, you know, in the 70th minute, 65th minute, he was unstoppable.
Steve Bell was playing at that time. Before that, with Robert Morse, and also, you know, he was with me with Tampa Bay Mutiny. Okay, so it was, you know, kind of like, hey, I know what he was able to do. A very good player.
A very skillful player, just technical, very smooth and comfortable on the ball. Could run forever.
Not only that, but he's a great person, you know what I mean? So how to conduct myself was sort of, you know, as a teenage kid coming up, and I can look at Steve and you know, see him as a role model.
All 3 of them were quality players. They weren't token locals that we brought onto the team to sell tickets. They were players that made an enormous contribution and could play the game and could compete with anybody in the league.
2. Still Junior Flemings. He's going to have a go. Excellent from Junior Flemings. Here's Spees looking for the curler, and what a save from Curtis Anderson. Guadarrama wants it himself. What a goal from Guadarrama.
The cross deflected. What a stop by Brown in the top corner. Another chance here for New Mexico, and they've got the equalizer.
Jadama will strike it with his right foot. Whistle blows. Steps. Strikes. And saved by Rodriguez.
Here's Woodbine into the box. Van Schaik said Van Schaik.
And again, Callum Irving grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck as Ben Spees lets one fly and drills it like a Langsdorff header. That's where Louisville wants to attack, shooting and scoring. It's saved by Caldwell. Collier. Yes. Knocked back towards Spencer. Brilliant finish.
The flick. Could it be 2? Yes, it is. That's Hellman.
Here's Banks. Banks from distance, and that's knocked away.
Velarde at the top of the box. Lee gets a touch, still driving in, sends it, and into the back of the net.
It's like Joe Giannis took almost on the entire defense there. That left foot shot.
Chipped in, headed away by Lockby. Second chance coming, diving, stopped by Fitzgerald.
Minnesota and with Jacksonville. Nunez, and that finds the side of the net. Most of these, he takes this one.
Hope you enjoyed both the feature from the Hounds and also a look around USL's various leagues as we give you the best of the best each and every week when we come to you. I'm Matt Geika alongside John Krasinski. Let's continue that theme and look around with some news and notes from USL Championship and points beyond as we're looking at a 1-0 Nashville lead through 45 minutes here. Indy 11 up 6 spots to #1 in the power rankings. Remember, you can go there and vote and try to boost your team up. Indy, another one of those squads that we figured would be in the mix here for a postseason spot. Hartford Athletic, meanwhile, John, looking for some reinforcements. They get a lone player, Colin Martin from MLS's Minnesota outfit. I think Hartford has some quality there. Maybe they just need a little bit more of it, I suppose.
Yeah, and they've had to start, I think, first, 8 or 9 games on the road.
8 on the road, yeah.
To start the season. So I know they want to try to, they feel that if they could win a couple games, or, during the stretch, they could get, build up some momentum for that home stretch for the when they get back home.
And speaking of first-year teams, Memphis 901 adding Jochen Graf from New York Cosmos. So they're trying to tinker with the formula there. Let's look elsewhere here.
Former Bob Lilly player there.
Yeah, right. I thought I recognized that name. Former Rhino, yeah. So here's some scores from out of town. Some late games tonight. It is the Eastern Conference, but we have several teams playing out of the Central Time Zone. Tampa tops in the table right now in a 1-1 tie through a half an hour with Charlotte. And North Carolina FC up 2-0 against Hartford. North Carolina just won the Tar Heel State Derby, if you will, against Charlotte last week. So Hartford looking at an 0-8 start going home. You had to figure they wanted to nick at least a couple of those, but it doesn't appear that'll be the case, barring some huge turnaround. And you see those games coming up later tonight. How about the ESPN games of the week for the next 4 weeks? We'll see the champs Louisville involved again, another Southern matchup there, this time against Memphis. Nashville and Tampa should be a great one. And we'll see Nashville again, in fact, coming up on May the 22nd. That'll be on ESPN News, by the way. So we have ESPN News, ESPN2, and ESPN3. And the Western matchup there, New Mexico United, one of several expansion clubs in the league this year. They'll be taking on OKC. So that's where you can find USL Championship action coming up. So we'll look at the stats and the highlights after this on ESPN+.
I should have been a cowboy.
Is That's Country Bro Tour 2019. Red Solo Cup. Live in concert. I fill you up, made in America. Friday, September 27th at Highmark Stadium. Toby Keith on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Drusky Entertainment and Kirchner Concerts. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour. Beach Bar Rum and Santo present Sammy Hagar's Full Circle Jam Tour. An all-new road trip, June 5th, Highmark Stadium. Special guest, Night Ranger. Sammy Hagar and the Circle with songs from their new album, Space Between. Reserve seats on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Sammy Hagar and the Circle, Full Circle Jam Tour. Produced by Trusky Entertainment.
The Pittsburgh Taco Festival returns to Highmark Stadium on Saturday, June 1st, 2019. Enjoy 30-plus taco vendors, live music by Gavis Beat, and family-friendly entertainment. The festival is broken down into 2 sessions. Afternoon from noon to 3 p.m. and an evening session from 4 to 7. VIP and general admission tickets are available, so get your tickets now at pghtacofest.com.
Pleasant Valley Golf Club, nestled in the Laurel Highlands of southwestern Pennsylvania, is now open to the public. Enjoy 18 holes of championship golf with a new island green and fully stocked pro shop. Our clubhouse features a large ballroom for weddings or private parties, 2 restaurants serving delicious food, a sports bar, 2 state-of-the-art golf simulators, and an outdoor patio with gas fire pit and picturesque view. Pleasant Valley Golf Club, now open to the public.
Second half coming up soon from Highmark Stadium. I'm Matt Geico with John Krasinski alongside on ESPN Plus this evening. First half belonged to the visitors, and we look back at the first half highlights. Difficult to generate much. I wouldn't say either side played poorly at all. It was just difficult to find that spark. Nashville eventually did off the set piece. But first, we go back to the opening minutes. Ryan James had a couple of crosses. This one too tall for Dos Santos, but that was a common theme in the first half, wasn't it, John? James trying to create.
And that's where the closest the Hounds came to creating chances were good balls in, but they were a little too high.
Well, this confrontation emblematic of the entire first half.
Certainly.
A wrestling match, and Dos Santos won that whistle. A couple of times he was battered, but didn't get the benefit of the doubt. And here we see LaGrassa stepping up, and, well, there was James again. So Ryan James might have been your Riverhounds MVP in the first half, actually.
Yeah, during the run of play, the Hounds were solid defensively. As you can see, that wall of black shirts, LaGrassa couldn't really get a shot off. It was on these corner kicks is where they struggled.
Reed put it into the mix. It's up in the air, and Tribbett. Great technique to volley this one home. For the center back, Tribbett is first of the season, and you can see he's enjoying that. The Hounds defended well through the run of play, as we were talking about off air. Here's one opportunity for Belmar, but the set piece is burned.
Yeah, and Nashville had a chance. I mean, a golden opportunity to go up 2-0 there.
I'm still pretty sure Morton got a tick of the glove on it. Look, he even looks at his glove after he falls.
Yeah.
So, but it led to a goal kick instead of a corner kick.
Yeah, a closer look at that showed that, you know, he had a tougher angle on that shot. So, but, you know, Bob Lilly can't be happy with this, where the Hounds' output is offensively. They didn't have a single shot on goal in the first half, Matt.
No shots on goal, no shot attempts at all, even. So if 7 were too few for him last week, I think 0 would be too few for him in the first half. We'll see if the Hounds change their perspective here. Now you see Kevin Kerr running up in the front line here with Steven Dos Santos, but the ball is played back into Kyle Morton. Pittsburgh in the black, attacking from right to left. Nashville in the gold, going the opposite way.
Yeah, first look tactically, it looks similar to what they were doing in the first half, at least the way they're lined up.
The Hounds had about 53% of the possession in the first half, make it 54, but no real spark. Nothing there, no moments of brilliance or magic.
Well, and it's the old adage, not in the final third.
Adewale did a nice job there, otherwise Belmar might have been away on that through ball from Reed. Nashville on the front foot to start this second half. Dabo dangerously back, but, well, Rios didn't turn and see it quickly enough. Kerr pressuring here as Sparrow boots it away. Connor Sparrow. A couple of punches, a couple of catches in the first half, but no saves. For the 24-year-old from the state of Missouri. 2 Missourians on this goalkeeping roster for Nashville, Matt Pickens included. Pickens the vet at 37 and Sparrow the understudy, if you will, at 24. Now 3 starts for Sparrow. James dispossessed, but it hops through to Forbes. Brett slips down, and Nashville defends that.
Yeah, could that have been a slip? Could that have been, extended the hand there by the defender? Brett didn't really contest that with the official, though.
Fouls were 6-5. Pittsburgh had 1 more than Nashville. Corners 2 apiece in the first half. Nashville had 4 shots, 2 on target, both coming off corner situations. Matt LaGrassa had the chance on a bouncing ball on the previous corner kick before Tribbett scored. The ball's off the body of Ryan James toward the direction of the table down there. That's where 4th official Sam Reynolds is stationed. Neglected to mention him in the first half. Also want to give a shout to Abe Aponte back in Vista headquarters, keeping us on the air and coordinated. All the folks at Vista and all the people here, all the technicians and camera folks. Thank you for your work through this 3-game homestand. 3 matches in a row at Highmark Stadium. This is the final of those. Hounds won the first, tied the second, and now trailing for the first time at home, as I mentioned earlier. So here's the real challenge, to play from behind against a team like Nashville. You're going to have situations like this. Belmar slipped it on back. Bourgeois, a little too far for Kimura to latch onto, but Adewale had the last touch.
Yeah, I think, well, the flag was up. I'm wondering if they called the handball on Adewale there.
It's probably what it was.
Looks like, yeah, it looks like, yeah, it's going to be a free kick for Nashville.
So it was Adewale. 14 returners for Nashville. They liked what they did last season, even if they didn't score enough to their liking. Pittsburgh brought back 10, so 2 teams pretty stable from last season. Last year, the result here at Highmark between the two was 1-0 Nashville on May 30th.
We'll see if they'll go with the right foot of Reed or the left foot of Washington here.
Reed with his hands in the air, but Washington's ready. Yeah, they're both ready. And it'll be Washington, the left footer. High ball, Morton snatches it. Kyle Morton.
Well done by Taylor Washington. We didn't see Taylor Washington do too much of that when he was here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that stood out to me for him to be part of a set piece. Exploring the talents of the New York City native Taylor Washington is Gary Smith in Nashville SC.
Yep, former first super draft selection of the Philadelphia Union.
Right, and was part of that organization, which does include Bethlehem Steel. This year the Steel playing out of Talon Energy Park in Westchester, Pennsylvania, near Philadelphia. Belmar's down in a squat. Took the worst of a challenge near midfield. A reminder that you can tune in on April 30th, this upcoming Wednesday, for the ESPN USL Championship Game of the Week. We just showed you the graphic there on ESPN3, featuring expansion side Memphis 901 FC, visiting the 2-time defending USL Cup champions Louisville City. It's the week's best match on the Game of the Week, April 30th. Find at 7 p.m. Pardon me, 8 p.m. on ESPN3, 7 local, out there in the Central Time Zone. So, Belmar's all right, at least good enough to continue on. No substitutions yet for either side, nothing at half. Dos Santos on the run. He and, who is that over there on the far side? He got tangled up.
It was a center back, I believe, came up.
Was that Ken Tribbett, perhaps, as both men went tumbling down to the artificial surface, and the Nashville player still slow to get up. It was Tribbett. Good call there, John, ranging far to the touchline to try to prevent Dos Santos a free run at the ball. Tribbett latching onto that right ankle.
Yeah, Dos Santos is pretty good at holding the ball up. We've seen his versatility in a lot of different ways, but long through balls on the ground, sometimes I'm not sure if that's his strength, to play through his speed or get behind defenders.
I think back to the game at Louisville, where the Hounds played to his chest seemingly 15 times, and every time he brought it down, it felt like. So yeah, he does use the frame well. Aerial balls are typically his. James took a hard knock, but keeps on kicking.
Yeah, he has terrific first touch. But if they're playing through balls or they're trying to get the, stretch the field, not sure. We might be looking at some changes earlier in the second half.
I thought it might have been a handball there on Rios as he turned away. Inadvertent, of course, but affected the play. But nothing called from Murphy or his assistants. Rios thought about the quick throw. Instead, he'll let it go. Bourgeois steps to it to take it. Nashville up on a Ken Tribbett goal after a corner kick, late stages first half. Belmar on the combination play, slid it through, turning Rios, and Greenspan just in the nick of time.
Nice passing in the triangle on the outside on the right side there, and that set it up for Rios, who was almost there for his 6th of the season, Matt.
It was the best looking combination we've seen from Nashville. That wasn't off of a Hounds turnover. They created that all themselves. And Rios was just a split second away, but Greenspan basically stole it off his foot from the 6-yard box.
Well, and Nashville doing a pretty good job possessing right now, and that will wear this Hounds team out, especially if they're pushing for that goal.
Kerr flies through. Kevin Kerr to take this ball away from Reed.
I think the Hounds need to, again, be a little bit more patient right now, not necessarily play it right back into Nashville's hands.
To your point, it's still just 1-0. One might seem like a lot for a team that doesn't have a shot yet in this match, but it does just take the one opportunity. Pretty good looking ball there from Nico Brett, but Dabo just a step short of it. However, he does force the throw in.
Yeah, that was well done by Dabo. His effort got him to win that ball there. Didn't stop.
Look back at that Nashville chance. Belmar off the feet from Bourgeois.
And that was Joe Greenspan there to clear it out.
Joe closed. It appeared dangerous for a moment, and but then Rios couldn't get that left foot to it in time. Hounds coach Bob Lilly delivering instructions to Ryan James, who's close to his side of the pitch in the second half. Morton out of his box. Bit of a missed kick there, up into the bleachers in front of us.
Yeah, that didn't work out well. I mean, Dabo tried to head it back, and it didn't even go inside the box, and Morton kind of rushed that clearance.
Rain is on the way here in Pittsburgh. Not to jinx anything, but after last week especially, a nearly complete washout here at Highmark. But there's not much wind to speak of. It was windier earlier, so now it's settled in. Pretty calm conditions. Neither team has an advantage if you're thinking about that sort of thing. Adewale couldn't get out of his own third. Akinyode bottles in the Hounds. James helping out, but LaGrassa touches it, looking for Belmar, but taken away. The Hounds give it right back. Kimura to the middle, the flick through. LaGrassa can't control with Vonkiazio confronting him.
Yeah, that's Rios' effectiveness on top of the back line, again, creating a chance.
Yeah, we talked about it in the first half. Rios not trying to get behind. He's doing all he can to find avenues. Dos Santos, Kimura, they collide. Charles Murphy wants to have a talk with
Dos Santos
one of the Hounds here, or pardon me, Belmar rather. He wants to talk to.
Dos Santos really, he tries to shield the ball here. I thought he was going to try to play it back quickly, and I think what Nashville didn't like was that little left arm extension there. They did not like that.
Took out his left leg, so there's
yeah, that too. Left arm and left leg were coming out. Looked like he had time to play a ball to one of his teammates there, but he chose to try to draw the foul, which is something he tends to do a lot of.
Morton will handle the free kick, and Belmar being shoved back by the assistant referee. Morton, the Hounds keeper, he's faced two, he's saved one.
The miracle.
Brett, haven't called Nico's name very much in this game, and he's called, offside was the call there with Brett reaching ahead.
Yeah, we haven't seen much from Brett or Kerr, especially inside the box or around the box, and those are two qualities, proven scorers at this level, and Nashville's doing a really good job to keep them at bay and keep them away from danger.
As advertised, it's a collision of two teams that know how to stay organized, out of the run of play especially. So maybe a set piece will have the key for Pittsburgh if it can just create one. That's been a challenge here in the second half to force it upfield. Another foul here against Nashville. Belmar didn't get the benefit of the doubt on that challenge against Toby Adewale.
Yeah, again, another hard challenge. Body's going down. This time it's Toby Adewale, who's, again, has been real strong in the air tonight alongside his partners, Joe Greenspan. Both of them have been doing a pretty good job of clearing a lot of things out. What you'll see is Adewale will play it out with his feet a little bit more than Greenspan.
Hounds trying the far touch line, and well, there's an impressive clear. We might have our first river ball of the season. I can't tell if it made it to the river, but
it definitely went over the fence there.
It's at least down the banks of the Monongahela, one of our three rivers here in downtown Pittsburgh.
And that was the first time we've seen Jordan Dover get pretty high up the flank there. And I think they need to utilize Dover, and as James did a little bit in the first half.
Well, there is Jordan Dover on cue. Flicks it over to the far wing. It's Kerr. Confronted there in the corner. Deep throw for the Hounds coming up. It's in that dark corner of the stadium. It's always a little tougher to see. The throw back to Forbes. Kerr and Forbes again. Kenny Forbes. He works the two-man game here with Dover, trying to give it back to Forbes. And it's ripped away and at least cleared out to midfield.
Well, here's the key. They have to keep it for a while here.
James stumbled to a knee, but did keep it alive. Now Greenspan has to step up, and he does. Called on there was Joe to keep possession, and Forbes has a seam. Forbes against Akinyode, who bodied him up, and Doyle put it off the leg of Forbes and out for a goal kick. Looked close to being a corner perhaps, but instead the ball bounces Nashville's way.
Yeah, Greenspan did a nice job there to keep the ball alive twice. Couple nice touches. You said Forbes had a seam. He had a seam for like, what, a half a second?
It felt like a big seam in the context of tonight, I'll say that much.
Wow, and I mean, Nashville's doing a great job of closing spaces right now. They're tough to solve, Matt.
Hounds down a goal, and looking at a road match next week at Charleston for Nashville. They're at Atlanta. Both teams won't get back on home pitch. They'll have to hit the road here. And there's an urgency to this one for both teams. Nashville coming off a loss, and Pittsburgh trying to capitalize on this third of three at home. Kimura crosses. Greenspan heads it away, and James dispatches it. Ryan James playing a prominent part in this game against his former squad in Nashville. And it'll be James again. Stepping. Ball just barely trickles out.
Well, the new turf held up pretty well there.
We wouldn't have seen that last year. It would have been all the way to the bleacher, I think. It's playing a bit softer this year. The ball is settling better. You know, the players like it almost universally. James Akinyode confronts and pokes it back to Adewale, who sensed some trouble lurking with Daniel Rios in his face.
Bob Lilly said that the better turf usually favors a better team. Well, tonight so far, the better team has been Nashville.
I think in the second half I've been impressed with how they've come out too in the opening 15 minutes. They haven't given Pittsburgh a sniff. Here's Forbes trying to change all that. Kenny Forbes through Dabo, holding, firing high. He took maybe one too many touches to settle, and by then it was a low percentage shot.
Yeah, it was there again. He had a short time frame, a little window. We'll take a look at it now, but well done by Kenardo Forbes though to draw the pressure. Watch, once he gets close to the line, 18, then he finds Dabo.
Kerr was waiting there too.
Yeah, two guys running into each other, not good. Spacing could be a little bit better maybe. But Dabo's got to pull the trigger, I think, a little quicker there.
And I think he wanted to on second touch, but it just wasn't in his wheelhouse.
Yep.
Forbes drew 4 defenders there. You could tell Nashville's like, we got to close this guy down in a hurry. And they did. That's
what the Hounds want to do. I mean, you want to get Kennardo Forbes a little higher up in the pitch, create some opportunities.
Well, at least that's something to build on for Pittsburgh, which hasn't had much tonight. Forbes all the way back in his own defensive third. Put it off the back of Reed, captain against captain. And what is this? An injury behind the play. Rios clutching that right foot that's been troublesome for him in recent weeks. Here comes the athletic trainer to tend to Rios.
Yeah, he put his arm up too, so.
Mexican-born striker. Might have gotten stepped on or clipped.
Just a good, clean play there.
Well, here comes your first substitution, and Dabo, who had that chance, will now give way to Anthony Velarde, the rookie pro for Pittsburgh. Velarde, the all-time leading scorer at Division II Fresno Pacific. Steps up, the 23-year-old. He will be in as soon as we get play resumed here for Mohamed Dabo. So Dabo, more of a defensive-minded player, out for Velarde, who can definitely create. And so he gets another chance coming off the bench here in the 63rd minute.
And much like he did last week, this is the same first sub for the Hounds. Dabo worked hard. He brought a lot of energy in the first half. Of course, he's getting a few words from Bob Lilly right now. Of course, now, you know, bringing Velarde on, he's going to try to find those seams and also, again, try to draw defenders between him and Forbes in the central midfield. Create opportunities for Kevin Kerr, for Dos Santos, for Nico Brett. So the Hounds will look to this young first-year pro there to really help generate some chances now.
He's already delivered a couple of times. He helped draw the winning penalty kick at Louisville. He delivered the tying penalty kick at Swope Park last month. He was the one trusted with that crucial strike of the foot.
Nice little play there by Ryan James to get a piece of that ball, but the Hounds can't clear.
Yeah, I love the way James has played. Velarde runs up the back of Akinyote, and here comes a dangerous set piece for Nashville.
Yeah, it's a tough angle to defend sometimes. And that was Velarde. Seems like whenever he first gets on the field, something happens.
Ball follows him. Put his hand on the back of Akinyote. And so, Nashville, which has been creative and dangerous off set piece situations, gets this opportunity here. Washington delivered the last one, and it appears they'll do it again. No. Fake me out. Reed, back post, and off a couple of bodies and out. And it's a corner kick. Ryan James was the last man to touch, rule the officials.
Yeah, corner kicks, again, Achilles heel for the Hounds defending in the first half. Maybe the two most dangerous opportunities, and we have another sub coming.
Dos Santos out, and Christian Valesky in. Valesky for the second consecutive week joins the fray in the second half.
And with Dos Santos coming out, the Hounds are definitely a different type of attacking team.
So Valesky, 26-year-old from Nevada, 38 USL goals. He replaces the 37 goal man in Dos Santos. Low in swinger, Vankiazil at the front door, gets rid of it. Now Morton's coming up, it's headed and in. Nashville has a second on the re-entry after the corner, and it's Bourgeois.
Bourgeois took care of it.
Two
ball
back
was redirected
for Nashville in this one.
And a celebration for Nashville in the corner there.
66th minute goal for Bradley Bourgeois. Tribbett scores in the first half, Bourgeois in the second, both off set pieces. And Vankiazil cleared the first one. Hounds pressed forward, but the second ball came in and burned it.
Coach has always stressed that second ball, and there it is.
And it was
back
Tribbett.
in, and Morton reacted a little too slow, and you're right, Tribbett put it right in a very dangerous spot, and really caught Morton in a dangerous in a tough position, and he had to come out and challenge it, but he wasn't quick enough to get to the ball.
Ken Tribbett, a goal and an assist tonight.
And in a game that's been really hard fought and physical, a center back being heavily involved in both goals, not really a surprise, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense. It's appropriate considering the tenor of this match. 2-0 Nashville. An impressive performance so far from the visiting side. You have to give them credit. After last week especially, easy to say, yeah, they'll be motivated, but some scar tissue from last week too that here's Nashville unbothered by this week. So now the Hounds on the comeback trail, and it's Kerr. Kerr pulling back, holding, finding Forbes. Square ball for Adewale. Hounds haven't trailed by 2 since the opener at Tampa Bay when they lost 2-0.
Yeah, and I can't think in the Bob Lilly era if the Hounds have ever trailed by 2 at home.
Not in a league match, I don't believe.
Other than that Cincinnati
US Open Cup, correct. That's the one I'm thinking about. They lost that one 3-1. Well, come to think of it, they trailed Louisville 2-0 and came back to tie it 2-2 last September.
That's correct.
That might be the only time in league play, though. They've lost a couple of 1-0 league decisions here. And that's been it. Through ball Velarde, just a step slow on that give from Kerr.
Well, when the Hounds made the sub, Dos Santos came out, so it brought in Valesky, who we'll see at the top spot in the formation. But you'll see them change some things up as well tactically. I would expect Canardo Forbes to push up a little higher as well.
Pittsburgh in danger of absorbing its second loss of the season, but its first since the opening week of this 34-game slate. Still very early in that. But you don't want to drop 3 points at home, obviously, especially for a Hounds team that was so good at defending Highmark Stadium last year. Valesky clipped.
Yeah, and when
Tribbett, I believe, yes.
Yeah, when you give up 2 goals on set pieces, that's going to be something that will be addressed in training all week coming up, and something that you don't want to see for much of the season.
Well, it's an easy call for man of the match at this point. It's Ken Tribbett. If only for the clinical volley alone in the first half that delivered his first goal of the year. And then the header right back into the mix just moments ago to put it on a platter for Bradley Bourgeois. Here's a back heel flick from Kimura to Belmar. Nashville's number 11, fenced in. Kimura lost it to Forbes. Forbes couldn't get it over his opposite number, 11, in Belmar. Adewale tracking back. First time the Hounds have given up 2 goals in 3 matches. They gave up 6 in their first 3 and then just 1 in their past 3 coming into tonight. Greenspan ranging all the way over to the touchline. His dish was behind Velarde, but there to take it was Brett. The drop to Forbes, who scans his options. He's got Dover about 10 feet to his right, and he finds it. Jordan Dover, foot on the ball. Velarde and Forbes. What will it be for the Hounds? Velarde tried to drive it hard through. Not sure what he was looking for there. Maybe Kerr on that second level beyond, but it wasn't to be. Morton rolls out to Greenspan. 20 minutes for the Hounds to get a couple, and of course not allow another.
But again, it's Nashville's very well organized. It's not going to be easy to get through here if you're Pittsburgh. A little bit more patience. Even when Velarde had that touch there, maybe he could have pulled it out, kept the possession going.
It's that difficult balance, isn't it? Patience with also seizing opportunities and knowing when there is a channel and a lane. We've seen this man do it. Forbes steps on the accelerator through to James. He bumps bodies with Washington, and corner kick is the call. It was inside the box, so it added some urgency to what Murphy had to say.
Good anticipation by Forbes to read and kind of see where James send that ball through for James, and created an opportunity. Now they're going to have a corner. There's Forbes bringing the defender to him and then sending that through.
Now we're not going to have a corner. What is this?
So it looked like both bodies, as you can see on the replay, collided. The ball got through from Forbes. Nobody touched it. So.
Okay, so a missed call that was corrected.
No, they brought the ball to the top.
Well,
maybe
maybe
they're
the
calling
foul
the foul.
was called.
Yeah, it looks like maybe the I don't know, because where that ball's located.
Yeah, we'd love to get a second look at that, so we will oblige.
So they probably put the ball outside the box because the contact initiated by James.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was off James last anyway, I thought, on that second look, so it probably did rightfully belong to Nashville. And so a proper call was made. And here is that man again, Ryan James. Canadian wing back. Fake to the inside, goes outside. Velarde chops it through, but again, a little impatient it seems. And Bourgeois intercepts. Tough ball for his keeper, Sparrow. Forced to play it up and off the leg of Rios.
Yeah, I mean, there's opportunity. Maybe Velarde doesn't really have much there. He could pull it back, move. I mean, he's got a little bit of room and space. Maybe take it to the middle of the field and then find somebody else.
Toss from James, the flick on. There is Anthony Velarde again, dragging through Brett, and he couldn't take it with him. That time a pretty effective combination, but a 1v1 battle won by Nashville.
Yeah, they're winning a lot of those tonight.
And it seemed early on Pittsburgh had the edge in that area, but there just wasn't that final touch, that final ball to send them into a dangerous spot. There you see Coach Bob Lilly shouting directions, and guaranteed it's a frustrated night for everyone down there. A frustrating night, I should say, for the boys in black. Velarde drew that foul against Rios from behind, and Charles Murphy wants the ball placed closer to where the foul was committed.
I wasn't sure if he was going with advantage there or not, but yeah, they wanted to.
I think he thought about
restart.
Always judgment call, of course. One of the eccentricities of this sport. Forbes fighting through contact, and oh my, quick card for Daniel Rios.
Yeah, Forbes, the master, shiftiest player we may have seen around here in quite a while, especially in the middle of the field with the ball at his feet, and caused a real quality player like Rios to draw. He drew a foul on a real quality player like Rios. So good work there by Canardo Forbes. So free kick opportunity. It's maybe the Hounds could get on the end of a set piece, although this is from dangerous distance, maybe in the high school level.
Yeah, this will take some doing here. 2 subs coming on for Nashville before it appears Kevin Kerr will handle this. Cameron Lancaster, last year's Golden Boot winner in USL. He set the league record with 25 goals. Now the league schedule's a little bit longer than it used to be, but still, what a season for Louisville that Lancaster put in. The Englishman checks into the ball game, and he'll take the place of Carlton Belmar, go up at the top of the Nashville formation, and Justin Davis, the defender, will take over for Taylor Washington.
Yeah, probably big for Lancaster to build those minutes, you know.
Ooh. Right in there, looking for Vankiazil was Kerr's service, defended away. So the Hounds went for it all. James right back into the box, bouncing free, and held up by Canardo Forbes.
Yeah, good decision by Velarde there. Just a simple play that ball out wide, kept the possession going.
I have a feeling that Velarde is going to get plenty of touches here late in this match. He lets this go for the throw. The give to James. Over Brett into the mix. Trouble now for Nashville. Vankiazil rising, bouncing, and Sparrow smothers it.
Well, since Dos Santos exhausted himself today and played really hard for 60-some minutes, it is a nice luxury for Bob Lilly to be able to bring in a Christian Valesky, who's at the top there. A couple balls came in there, and Valesky's close. They're going to have to get it to his feet, though.
Oh, there's a shove from Lancaster on Adewale. That was a rough foul. And take an easy call for Charles Murphy, even though he trailed the play by a good 20 yards. So a free kick just inside the end line. And the rain has begun to fall at Highmark. You saw the shot of the lights earlier. It's a light drizzle, nothing tough yet, but we're barely going to get this game in before it really does start to come down, it appears, and looking at the radar, and you saw the second look.
Cameron Lancaster coming into the match just with all arms up.
He says, who says I'm just a scorer, right? I can deliver some physical punishment, as it turns out. Cameron Lancaster, great story, 26-year-old from London. Technically, he's on loan from Nashville's MLS team, which hasn't started yet. It starts next year. He and Rios, similar situations, signed by the MLS version of Nashville. And here's a quick through and an opportunity for the visitors, but doesn't materialize here. Rios couldn't nudge it past the defender. And Velarde dispossessed by Akinyote.
Well done by Akinyote. I mean, that was real nice.
He's impressive to watch.
Yeah.
He's a possession machine for Nashville. Kimura out wide. Reed. Driven ball. Vanki Azil got his studs on. Here come the Hounds. 77th minute, down 2. Forbes unable to get that one through. Reed, who backtracked well.
Yeah, that's just long passes or semi-long passes just going nowhere right now for the Hounds. And they haven't played direct or longer well without Dos Santos, or they need to be a little bit more patient here, but
they are running out of time.
Right, they are running out of time, so got to be a little bit of sense of urgency here. Get that goal with 10 minutes to go, it changes everything and gets this crowd back into the match as well.
They haven't had much to get on their feet about tonight. Can all change late. Kerr, who knows that? He's been part of some memorable comebacks here at Highmark Stadium. Tommy V. Vanki Azil hooks up with James here.
I'll tell you what, if the Hounds score 2 goals against this side, the way that they've been playing defensively,
that'd be close to another miracle on the Mon, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Brett unable to handle it cleanly, but it'll still be a Hounds throw, with Kimura defending this near touch line. And it is Kosuke Kimura back for it, and banged it off the back of Ryan James. Tough break for the Hounds. Goal kick for Nashville, and a chance for Connor Sparrow to kill some time. Sparrow was teammates at Creighton University with Noah Frankie. Still available off the bench. We might see Noah. He checked in last week when the Hounds need some speed on the outside.
Well, we have a sub coming now. I don't know if it's going to be Noah Frankie. It'll be, looks like Robbie Mertz, the local product from Upper St. Clair.
Mertz is going to take the place of Toby Adewale, so the Hounds will exchange a defensive player in Adewale for an offensive one. And Robbie Mertz, appropriately on the night that we show the feature on the first 3 Pittsburgh players signed by the Hounds 20 years ago, Mertz will get another look in front of the home crowd. Mertz, Big Ten all-first-team player.
Bad giveaway there. Uncharacteristic of Canardo Forbes, trying to play the switch, and he just gave it right back to Nashville.
And Kerr can't get upfield with it. Challenging night for the Hounds, to say the least. Brett run through, and Akinyote is on it for Nashville, and the counter's on for the visitors. But Reed got tangled up with himself basically there. He hesitated and gave it up.
Good ball from Canardo.
Forbes going deep. It is a nice one. Leads Kerr perfectly to the corner flag. Kerr nutmegs Tribbett. Into the box it goes, but won by Nashville and slung back out to midfield. Rios right back. Lancaster wants to get it back. A little too fancy maybe for Nashville there at the edge of their defending third, but Brett can't connect on a pass. Tackle here, and that's going to be a foul against Lancaster, who has come into this game with a vengeance.
He has.
He was swinging away with that foot on James as both were tied up on the ground. And here comes the sub, Mertz.
Yeah, but as Robbie Mertz comes in for Toby Adewale, that's the kind of high energy you want to see from a forward. You know, coming in late in the game, defending, doing everything he can to keep his team up 2-0.
James, it'll be a throw off Kimura's body. Kenardo Forbes. And no one was making a run at that moment. It's right into the breadbasket of Sparrow. I don't know if they count that as a shot on goal for the Hounds.
And I don't know if we've seen a shot. Oh, there is one shot recorded on goal for the Hounds tonight, at least from what I can see. But yeah, that's the story right now. 9-1 shots.
Dabo misfired on. That must be the one shot they have, not on goal though.
Right.
Velarde trying to get around a man, and well, at least he got the foul. Quick restart for Pittsburgh. Kerr to Dover. Wide is Jordan Dover.
He was back up quick.
What's he have in mind? A through ball here to Kerr. Kerr flips it up, and that's Velarde here on this near side, but he couldn't catch up.
Yeah, again, decent build-up, but even when Valesky got the ball, it was two defenders. Oh.
Velarde threw, and Valesky just did not get back in an onside position. James again generated possession there by winning a ball.
Yeah, I'd say James has been pretty solid tonight.
Can't ask for more from number 7.
No, against his former team. But yeah, that final ball there, just gold shirt surrounded Valesky on that ball from Kerr.
Now the Hounds have to work from their own end. Into the 83rd minute at Highmark. Pittsburgh down 2. Nashville putting on a defensive clinic tonight. They've conceded just the one shot. We'll see if they give Forbes a shot on that, what appeared to be a cross that Sparrow headed off at the pass. Kerr.
And this is where the Hounds have had most of their possession tonight. And then it goes to Dye.
Yes, they've had the ball on the flanks. But touches in the middle and in dangerous areas have been few and far between. Bonchiazio playing de facto defender right now with Adewale out. Here comes Davis to slug it off the scoreboard, basically.
It's hard to believe this team gave up 3 goals last week, but you know they did try something different. They did try a 3-4-3. And
that ball was out apparently.
Oh, it was off the line, over the line, yeah.
Pittsburgh has lost twice in the Bob Lilly era at home, both 1-0. This will be the first multi-goal loss if the scoreline remains the same.
But we've seen a lot of fight from the Riverhounds last year, even when they were down a couple different times. That Louisville game, as you mentioned, was the one, and it was around this time, 83rd or 84th minute, where they scored the first goal and then got one in the 90th minute. So,
yes, it was Joe Holland who put one in.
Yep.
His only Hounds goal. Bourgeois handles this easily, and then it was Kenardo Forbes on a penalty kick in stoppage time after Nico Brett won the spot kick. Sparrow cracks it ahead. Both sides want the call. It'll go to Nashville, and we'll have a stoppage in play for a third Nashville substitution. Ropapa Mensah ready to check in. The 21-year-old from Ghana. This is his 5th appearance, all off the bench for Gary Smith. Mensah has a goal this season. He scored against Memphis 2 weeks ago to salt that one away.
Probably a smart move, taking Rios out. About 5-6 minutes left.
Forward for forward here.
Yeah. And especially in a match where it's been as physical as we've seen, both teams exhausting all their subs before the 85th minute.
I was impressed by Rios' work rate and his relentlessness tonight.
Yeah.
Mensah with a hand on his back, put it toward the spot, and it's cleared away by Jordan Dover. Velarde is on the trot. Anthony Velarde, second half sub here, spun around by LaGrassa. Charles Murphy down in the umpire's position, basically checking that confrontation out. Decided to let things go as the Hounds had possession of the ball.
Double spin there by Velarde. Good work to keep the possession going.
He is nifty. He has some moves in the bag. So does this guy, Robbie Mertz.
Yep.
Former Michigan Wolverine, Mertz. Hands off to Kerr. Kerr stops on a dime. Floats one of those signature balls toward the end line. Velarde back against the grain. Valesky rises up. It's still free. Mertz over the crossbar. Robbie Mertz nearly with a goal he'll always remember. Instead, it's just off, and he's down and hurt after releasing that shot.
Quality chance there for the Riverhounds. Nice little build up, and they were relentless at getting the ball into the box, and then Mertz, I think it was a hard collision as he took the shot.
No one's better at that lofted 20-yard ball than Kevin Kerr, and it nearly led to a goal for the Hounds.
Yeah, that's a tough opportunity there for Mertz. I mean, he caught it a little high, and can't really see on that from that angle, but he caught the ball when it was still pretty high. If it maybe came down another foot or so, he might have been able to hit that a little bit more solid.
It would have taken perfect technique right there.
Yeah, and he didn't have that much time.
This ball will sail through. Morton chasing it quickly, doesn't want to waste any time. And it was Velarde who saved that ball, kept it inside the byline after Kerr lifted it to him. I want to credit everyone who was involved in that. Nearly some magic there in tight quarters. James overpowers LaGrassa. It hops to Forbes. Mertz on it, spinning away from the pressure of Akinyote. Giving to Dover. Dover right in the header, and the goal!
Wow. I don't know if Valesky got a piece of that or not, but hey, we've got a game right now, Matt.
He might have clipped it. He's taken the ball back to the center of the pitch. The Hounds have a goal in the 87th minute. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think it was Christian Valesky who got a piece, and he rocks the Casbah. It's a one-goal game. We'll get a look at the replay.
The Hounds showing a lot of fight in the last few minutes to just keep pushing for something, anything, and now it's paid off. And well done by Robbie Mertz to keep it alive, gets it to Dover, and I guess Valesky got a piece of it.
I think it had to be off his head.
Yeah, it was redirected. There was no way. The keeper was frozen there. Sparrow kind of got caught looking.
Valesky gets his 39th career USL goal, and the Hounds have life. Here at home, it's 2-1. Valesky's first as a Hound. Dover's first assist of the season. He's been looking to get on the board and match his buddy Ryan James. James has 2 helpers and Dover has 1. This ball too deep from Morton, unfortunately, for Pittsburgh, and that gives Nashville time to gather itself.
Well, that's the key, right? You want to catch Nashville while maybe they're a little unsettled after giving up a goal, but the Hounds will probably want to push, at least get it to the final third, then they can do some.
Pittsburgh's first real shot on goal leads to a goal, and apparently this one's still in. I thought that was definitely out. It's a corner, and give Cameron Lancaster a bunch of credit there for forcing Bunky Azil into a difficult position.
Yeah, like I said earlier, a late sub, a forward coming in late in the match, that's what you got to do. You got to burn that energy, make the Riverhounds use every inch of the field to try to get back into it, try to get that equalizer. Lancaster's having none of that, and with us now just entering the 90th minute, they're going to probably play it short here. Try to burn some time, Matt.
Oh yeah, I doubt they put it into the mix at all. So Mensah,
and there's the battles that
taking
continue.
the punishment. It's right there inside the corner arc, and a fine job from Brett to hook up with Forbes and at least get the Hounds out of danger in their own defensive third.
Well, the Hounds have to get the ball back here first and then try to build something up.
Brett tries to do that, but Kimura won that duel in the air. And Kimura with the ball at his feet again after Lancaster put in another shift. Morton just inside the 18. Javelin throw to the far side.
Good quick switch using the space on the right side. Oh, it's given away by Dover.
Dover had that nice little cross to set up the Valesky goal, gave it away there. We have 5 minutes of stoppage time coming up, so it is not over, not by any means.
Not by any means now.
Joining us late, Nashville scored in the first half, Ken Tribbett, and then Tribbett assisted on Bradley Bourgeois' goal here in the second half, both off corners for Nashville. Hounds get one back in the 87th minute. Christian Valesky, 26-year-old Nevadan, takes his Highmark Stadium introduction. Sparrow induces Brett to run closer to the ball before he picks it up. Killing more time.
Yeah, we got Brett lurking, scored a lot of goals last year. Got Kevin Kerr lurking, who's had his share of late game magic on this field. So, hey, you know, as bad as the Riverhounds played for most of the game, here they are.
Just down a goal, one shot away. Reed slips it through. Lancaster on the run. Greenspan's going to win that race. He had a head start. Kyle Morton out wide here. Second half action brought to you by number 1 Cochran. And the Hounds are making it a thrill ride here at the end. Kerr's header finds Valesky, the goal scorer, at the corner of the box. Right on back to Dover. Now Kevin Kerr. What's he want to do with it? Toward the 6, James! It's in! Hounds tie it up! 2-all! Ryan James put it off a body and in!
Unbelievable. Ryan James all night has worked and worked and worked, and now he's rewarded for it, Matt. Absolutely rewarded. And
against
he's in
his
that
former
corner.
team. Against the Nashville team that let him go in the offseason. Ryan James makes it hurt. The stands are shaking at Highmark. We'll look at the replay. Wild horses really do run faster. Ryan James with the goal in stoppage time, and the Hounds are on the verge of pulling a point out of this one. Improbably.
Well, we've still got about 3 or 4 minutes maybe left, but wow, what an opportunity. As soon as Valesky Dover found Kerr, you could, on the other side was James making that run to the far post.
Put it off a Nashville defender and in, but it was going in anyway. It was going to be inside that right post. So it's not like it was some friendly fire there. James got all of that volley. And Kevin Kerr gets the assist, and he is rising up the charts. He's now the all-time assist man.
Yes, he's passed, I think it's 26 now.
Yes, that's his 26th league assist for Kevin Kerr, passing David Flavius, the only man who has played more years for the Hounds than Kevin Kerr has in his 7th season. So it was Valesky, Dover, and then over to Kerr, and he had runners.
Well, we're at least another 2 minutes or 3 maybe in stoppage time left, so there's a lot of time left. With things get kind of opening up, you just never know.
Very true. Valesky fouled. The Hounds are going to restart here at midfield. Can they do it?
Man, Kerr was breaking, and he wanted that quick restart badly.
Hounds just weren't in a position to do it. And I mentioned that miracle on the Mon comeback. Kerr was the one who finished that one off from Lebo Maloto, you'll recall, of course, 4 years
here
ago.
tonight.
Deep one to Greenspan. Can he keep it alive? No, but it's a corner kick for Pittsburgh.
Well done, well-designed play. That ball was intended for Greenspan to redirect it. As the crowd hears that Kevin Kerr is the all-time assist leader now for the Riverhounds.
A reaction, and it's Mr. Riverhound over the ball here at the corner flag. It's a 2-2 score. Kerr will undoubtedly try to swing this one in.
What a comeback this could be. They could finish this one.
Ending a homestand short side ball. Bunky is still battling, got it right back to Kerr. They'll set it up again. Kevin Kerr gets a step on the inside. Kerr lets one fly, back post, and a kick save made by Sparrow.
At first I thought Kerr was going for it, and it was actually intended for Greenspan.
It was close to bending into that top corner.
Oh my goodness.
And there's a foul against the Hounds. Velarde preventing Dover from keeping it alive, and Velarde gets the card. Charles Murphy has been quick with the cards tonight. He knows when he's going to go to the back pocket.
I think Murphy's had pretty good control of this match, wouldn't you say, Matt?
Absolutely. And I like the quick decision. I don't like when referees dawdle over whether they're going to book a guy or give him a talking to. He's just said, you know what, here's the yellow.
Well, you know, I think Nashville's going to probably see what they can do here long, but there's not much time left.
They might just be happy to kill the rest of this game. They thought they had a win.
Right.
It's not over yet. Goal kick Hounds. And you're right, they just played it deep.
Goal kick now, another goal kick. Morton will play it short and to see if the Hounds can get some time to build something up. Murphy's ready to blow the whistle.
Nope,
though.
That's it from Charles Murphy. It's a 2-2 draw, but it feels like a win for Pittsburgh. The opposite of last week when the Hounds thought 0-0 didn't feel so good. 2-2 probably feels pretty darn good. After trailing by 2 going into the 87th minute. I don't know if we quite call it a miracle, John, but it was an accomplishment for the Hounds, who now improve to 2-1-4. Their unbeaten streak now at 6 games, second longest in the USL only, to the first place Tampa Bay Rowdies, I'm left wondering, how did they find the time and space against this Nashville team, which just fell short of the finish line tonight?
Yeah, resiliency. They showed a lot of resiliency. They never stopped. And what happened was a couple of moments there, past the 80th minute, they just kept pressing and pressing, and finally something broke through.
And a memorable night at Highmark reminds us a lot of that match against Louisville last year in September. Similar situation, identical final score. Nashville unable to bounce back with a win. They'll have to settle for a draw. We'll come back and wrap this one up, catch our breath, and bring you the stats and highlights. Back at Highmark in just a moment on ESPN+.
I should have been a cowboy. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour 2019. Red Solo Cup. Live in concert. I fill you up, made in America. Friday, September 27th at Highmark Stadium. Toby Keith on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Drusky Entertainment and Kirchner Concerts. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour.
What do you call it when Western Pennsylvania's largest automotive retailer begins selling the region's most popular brand?
Chevrolettionary, which also describes our grand opening offers.
Introducing the all-new #1 Cochran Chevrolet, where you'll find a special 2-year lease on a sporty Trax from just $99 a month. The unequaled Equinox as low as $139 a month, plus $1,000 extra for trades at the all-new #1 Cochran Chevrolet.
The Pittsburgh Taco Festival returns to Highmark Stadium on Saturday, June 1st, 2019. Enjoy 30-plus taco vendors, live music by Gavis Beat, and family-friendly entertainment. The festival is broken down into 2 sessions, afternoon from noon to 3 p.m. and an evening session from 4 to 7. VIP and general admission tickets are available, so get your tickets now at pghtacofest.com.
One of those games that you'll remember for a while. At least I will. I know the man to my left will. I'm Matt Geica with John Krasinski. The Hounds catch their breath at the center field stripe as they come back with 2 goals after the 87th minute to tie this game against Nashville, which was looking completely stalwart. And we'll take a look back here with our highlights and a match that generated 2 goals in the opening 86 minutes, both off set pieces. Here's the first one as Ken Tribbett got on top of this volley.
Yeah, Tribbett just got on top of it enough and just put it away, and really kind of from that point forward for most of the match, it was all Nashville.
Nashville in control, even though possession was pretty even. Nashville just not letting Pittsburgh get inside in their defensive third. There's Kyle Morton grabbing one on a set piece. That'll foreshadow another set piece coming up, which we'll get to in a moment. A look for Belmar in the second half here with Nashville up 1-0, but Rios can't turn it before Greenspan clears it. And this was the best look before the Hounds broke through with Mohamed Dabo, but the midfielder taking that dish from Forbes and just couldn't control it in enough time.
At that point, it was the only shot in the game for the Hounds.
Tribbett putting this one back into the mix off the corner, and there you have it. 2 corner kick goals, if you will, for Nashville. This one on a second ball in, but still a set-piece situation.
Yeah, those second balls, crucial.
Bradley Bourgeois is the man celebrating here, and it looked for all the world like Nashville was going to skate out of here with a 2-0 win. They were dominant, but then Christian Valesky off the top of his skull on the cross from Jordan Dover.
What an effort by Valesky just to get his head on it, just to get enough on that, lunge forward, and just change the entire complexion of the match. And late in the match,
that was 87th minute, by the way, and here are the Hounds working it around to the outside. Kerr, great ball to James, bangs it off a Nashville body and in. That was in stoppage time, about the 92nd minute. So the Hounds end up with 4 total shots. 2 of them go in. How about that for a shooting percentage?
And, they did possess the ball pretty well early in the match.
And late.
And when they needed to, and when they needed to keep the ball. But it was a hard-fought match. I don't know what the total fouls were, but both teams really came out, tried to solve each other, and at the end it's 2-2 tie, but it was an unforgettable 2-2 tie.
Yeah, just what we thought we would see. Hard fought. Thank you so much for joining us tonight
Right here at the end.
at Highmark Stadium as we'll say goodbye. Next home match coming up Memorial Day weekend, so it'll be a long time before that. For John Krasinski, I'm Matt Geica saying goodbye from Pittsburgh, PA. What a memorable finish here this evening on the banks of the Monongahela River. Thank you again, John, for joining me.
My pleasure. What a game.
Thank you to all the viewers out there. We'll talk to you soon, month's time from Pittsburgh.
United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.